between my surroundings and my studio, to be specific. I don't live here, but I wouldn't mind. It's a beautiful place. We've been here like, what, 20 years, 22 years or so, the Contemporary Art Center. But this isn't about me, or where I've been, or where I live. It's about music. It's about the guitar. It's about the variety of guitars. But we're talking things that started back into the 1500s, some form of the guitar. If you want to push it back further, we're talking about instruments, stringed instruments, that actually developed all over the world. No specific place. You know, China had stringed instruments. You know, the Maasai in Africa, you know, not only, but all over Africa, there were stringed instruments. Some of them were more banjo-like, but they depended on one thing, you know, strings that vibrate and give off a sound. And that's what we see in skin, animal skin devices. Well, anyway, I do have a collection. I only have 3. I have in my collection about 8 different guitars, but I was only able to haul a few down here. As you all can see by the shape, and maybe later by the tonal quality of the Gibson 335. This was a gift, it was made a gift to me by Charles Taylor, an attorney here in town. But he's passed on, but he has left me with this beautiful red guitar. This is called a Premier. The one in the middle is called a Premier. Not many were produced, but we're looking at the years 1951. Okay? During the beginning of the Korean War. I guess things were still plentiful as far as materials, but the guitar had not gained much popularity during that period. But now, it has become a very significant instrument, both personally for people who are playing by themselves, but definitely for bands. It wasn't until later, in the late 30s and 40s, you know, it became electrified, and people like Les Paul, you know, began to put pickups on these things, and bands begin to play with vacuum tube powered amplifiers. And that's what we have today. This is Chris. Chris is my accompanist. I hope I pronounced that right. But definitely an able-bodied percussionist. Chris, your last name?
DiPiazza.
DiPiazza. Okay.
Just Chris is fine.
So we're going to lay down a few things for you, and then we'll talk. I chose to maybe play without my loop machine. We're talking amplified and percussion. Okay? Let's try and see how this combination works in this lovely setting made of wood. And to me, the type of acoustics we're using is like being inside of a wooden guitar, and but this place has that type of ambiance. I'm playing an Ibanez, designed by George Benson. This very guitar was designed by George Benson. In fact, I had the experience of playing with him, you know, in Decatur, Illinois, at the A&W Tavern. And this is where I learned a lot of skills, but not that often. I don't want to brag about that because he was 17 and I was 21 at the time. But it just blew my mind. I'm so happy that the museum, the Riverfront Museum, is putting this on. In fact, it's called the Year of the Guitar. Yes. And it emphasizes this magnificent instrument. All right, getting back, I'm not jumping around. It's just that I got so much to say. So we'll play, and I'll say some more. Let's do kind of a rhythmic thing. So you probably noticed everything that I played was in sort of chord melody, improv, of course. Nothing, single line, beautiful melody things. But if you listen closely, you can probably hear the tune Autumn Leaves within the chord melody, improvised chord melody. The year of the guitar, what an exhibit. What an honor to be a part of this, from the Riverfront Museum. When I was asked to be a part of this, I jumped at it right away, I was in love with the guitar probably at the age of 12, okay? I can't say that I'm at that point where I play it super well, but I play it well enough to enjoy what I play. I guess that's what all music is about, right? If you're feeling good about what you do, that's kind of a way of continuing, because you're satisfied. Anyway, this guitar the premiere. Like I said, there weren't that many produced. But the problem I had with it, I got this at, from a friend of mine, Don Middleton, and he made some kind of beautiful deal with my sculpture and a client of his, and we came to the point where we thought a trade would be better than passing money back and forth. This has ivory strips, stripping around the top, especially the top. Two different types of wood, but this was low price type of equipment in those days. But I do have, it does have an ebony bridge and little bits of ivory and abalone sprinkled here and there on this guitar. But what really sets it off is the fact that with early forms of epoxy resins, period, types of polymers, we have, they experimented. Plastic wasn't that big, Back then it was Bakelite, that we saw in the old radios. Really hard, rigid type stuff. You drop it, it crumbles. The technology in plastics improved, and they began to experiment around with it, and that's why we have this sparkly stuff. And it's probably from an experiment. But there are bits and pieces of animal products, such as the stages for the pickups. You can see some of that. It's not a bad sounding guitar. I know that you all are anxious for me to pick this up and play it, but I don't know. I'm having so much fun on this Ibanez. Let's see. I'll tease you a little bit. Let's see what happens later. Like I said, this is a few of my guitars. I used to collect them, and not anymore, No, if you want to call 8 guitars, but they're different types of guitars. One year, I think it was maybe a few years ago. Do you remember when I had my banjo?
Yes.
Yeah.
I do remember.
I played a 6-string banjo. Actually, it was just like playing a guitar, but I was so involved in the sound of the banjo. And that's a product, made by a Gold Song. Yes, they made a 6-string banjo. In the 40s, 30s, there were all types of guitars. I mean, the whole idea of playing the guitar to get, it was a day or a year or time of the science of the instrument, focusing more on the materials. Here, we still have the science of the guitar, but we're focusing more on electronics, the synthesizers and all of these added things that makes it even more exciting. So this is a Renaissance period again, the second or third Renaissance, I don't know, but it's definitely a change. Oh, wow. I think we'll play some more. I don't want to just talk to have something to fill up time, but this is a great opportunity, and I want you to enjoy it. So let's play another song. Let's try the synthesizer. Let's see what I can get out of this, okay? It won't be super dynamic, but let's see what kind of beat is in there. We'll see what type of beat is in this, okay? But you can see. Chris, we'll just play around with this a little bit.
Sure. Sounds good.
Okay, better erase it again. This is a loop machine. I'll let you all know that. I will lay down one loop and we'll play against it. Now we'll give it to the machine. electronics out there, but you know, electronics. I didn't think I'd be so hooked on this. I did have a guitar that it was another Ibanez. Mike Nellis owns it. Very able-bodied guitarist. Yeah, but I had a synthesizer on it. I think it was made by Zoom. Something. But anyway, a great sound. 360 different sounds I could get from it. Well, I got hooked, meaning that it became addictive. And I would take it on band jobs, and it had a sound of an organ in it and also a flute, but it was all synthesized. You could tell it wasn't the real thing. But today they say, they've perfected this type of ingenuity. And now there are, a lot of guitarists, especially guitarists like John Miller, and these are purists. These are purist guitarists. And now they are a part of it. They're beginning to experiment with it. We're going to play another tune for you. Give us a chance to understand the importance of percussion, the percussive sound that's built in. You see, the guitar itself is also considered a percussive instrument, especially the banjos. Banjos having that skin top, could beat out a rhythm just as important and filling as a drum, a snare drum. So anyway, we're going to try some stuff. Now I've been playing in the key of G too long. Let's move it around a little bit. Sandpiper. Yeah, from the Sandpiper? Movie. Oh, movie back in the 50s. The Shadow of Your Smile. Well, since I have a little more time, maybe I've got about 5 minutes. Let's bring out one of these bad fellas. One of my home guitars. I call them my old friends. Chris, is there anything you want to say or add? It's up to you. I enjoy your playing.
Just like to ready here when you want to do another tune.
Okay. Or another session even, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. This is the George Benson Ibanez again. Superior guitar. You know, Gibson has led for solo. There was Gibson, there was Gretsch, and there was Guild. These were the only really great guitars, you know, back in the 50s when I came up. So, I mean, I was actually a kid in the late 40s. And, but when I got interested in the guitar, man, there were so many wonderful choices to make. And we had Stellas, we had Harmonies, we had guitar by Sears and Roebuck. It was called Silvertone. I mean, you know, just a lot of brands to choose from. Well, not as many as today, but definitely you can tell the difference. I mean, you can tell the sound of certain guitars. Listen to this old fella. Statement I made about the chink, 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 chink guitar. That's Freddie Green with the Count Basie band. I mean, he didn't start it. I mean, it was, you know, many years ago when guitars were not amplified. See, so you had to have some good wood to get that sound out there, and that's when they were made. You know, quality wood. Some of the trees and types of wood don't exist anymore. We've really messed up this planet so much that even music is affected by it. But back then, and I'm talking about the 50s or so, and well, 1920s, 1930s, 1940s, and different instruments today. And I'm here to say I'm happy to have lived or alive during these times when wonderful technological changes are made.